Alabama season comes to an end. It didn't exactly end the way that they wanted to, but all in all, Kalen DeBoer's first year in Tuscaloosa was a success. Now, we got Tim Watts from Bama Online in this video. I want to kind of talk about the quarterback position moving forward. Also, the 2025 class that they signed, there's some chances that some of these guys are going to make an immediate impact. We're going to cover that. But first, Alabama fans, do me a favor. It's a new year. We're here talking Alabama recruiting all year round, so hit that subscribe button for me. All right, let's bring in Tim Watts, Bama Online. It's been busy for you, Tim. Yesterday after the game, Andy Staples wrote an article kind of insinuating, and I think there's been a lot of rumors, that Jalen Milroe is not going to be back at Alabama next year, most likely the NFL. It could be a transfer portal. Tim, what are you hearing on Jalen Milroe?
Yeah, just speculating, and also going off the educated speculation, I guess is what I'd call it, is that I don't think the expectation is he'll be back next year at Alabama. I think it would be a no-brainer saying that he would go to the NFL, except the day of the NIL. There's some desperate teams out there for quarterbacks. Somebody could make him a crazy offer. Again, I'm purely speculating, but I think the people close to Alabama believe he's going to the NFL. It's just time for him to take that next step, go to the next level, and move on.
And that leads me to moving on, and it could be a move to five-star quarterback Keon Russell, who right now is participating in Orlando at the Under Armour game. Steve Wiltfong, Chad Simmons, and everybody's down there. Gatorade Player of the Year, industry's number 2 ranked overall recruit. And he did an interview with Steve Wiltfong yesterday, and he said something that kind of jumped out at me. And it said that, Alabama wants him to come in and be the quarterback ASAP. So, of course, he's having a great week down in Orlando, but do you really believe that Keon Russell could come in as a freshman and start at Alabama?
I don't think it's unheard of for somebody to do that. I think the odds are against him based on how good the SEC is, how quick you got to learn, how fast the game moves. Now, however, he is going to be here in January, so he's going to get that spring. And I think spring will tell us a lot more about him and where he fits in. And also Ty Simpson's been there 3 years. He's not going to give the quarterback position up easy. Got Austin Mack there. What I will say is I think you're going to get a full-fledged quarterback battle. The last time we saw this, to me, was when Bryce Young and Mac Jones were in a similar situation where Bryce was coming in as the number 1 quarterback in the country. Mac Jones had been there for several years, came in and battled. Mac won that job. So I think you're going to see a similar battle. As far as Keelan goes, I'm a recruiting guy, so I'm always looking to see the freshman play. I think he has all the merits to be in contention for that starting job. I'm not sure anybody signed a better quarterback than Keelan this year. He won basically every award, tore up everything he's done. Obviously, Underwood at Michigan is in the debate. There's no doubt about that. He's ranked the number 1 quarterback. Now, I'm not sure anybody did more to help himself this year than Keon Russell.
All right, yeah, and Keon Russell checks in Orlando at 6'4", 180, and through 2 days of practice, he is as good as advertised. So we'll be keeping an eye on him. But a couple other guys I want to talk about on the offensive side of the ball that seem like really good evals by the Alabama staff. Both of them on the offensive line, Michael Carroll and Jackson Lloyd. There's a lot of talk coming out of this Michigan game about Alabama's offensive line. Could Carroll or Lloyd make an early impact up front?
I think Michael Carroll's come to Tuscaloosa with bad intentions. I think physically he's got the tools you want, the mindset. I mean, if you watch this highlight film, there's a lot of moms, cussing at him. He is whooping their sons' butts a few times. Very aggressive, physical. Jackson's the same way. I mean, they've got that good kids off the field, nasty on the field, which is what you want to see from an offensive lineman. But both of them have that finish in them. Jackson's going to be the most interesting long-term to me. This is going to be the first time he only focused on football. He played basketball, was actually pretty good. He played baseball, was actually pretty good. This is his first time focusing on football. Looks like he's added some really good weight. He looks like an NFL first-round tackle pick physically. But Michael's the one I think you have to watch the closest because I think he's coming in. You got Tyler Booker leaving. I think Carroll's coming in, like I said, with bad intentions, and he's a bad man.
All right. The season that Ryan Williams had just doesn't come around all the time. But watching Latsier Brooks throughout the year, I mean, he was like a human highlight reel every Friday night, putting up these catches, these numbers. Do you think he's going to factor into that wide receiver rotation once he arrives?
I think, you mentioned earlier really good evaluations by this staff, and I think they did some of the best evaluations in the country. We've already talked about Jackson Lloyd, who was a 3-star, Keon Russell, 3 or 4-star SMU commitment, and then, of course, Lotzir Brooks. And,
Yeah.
I still think people are waiting to catch up on him. But, I said this early on when I saw him. He reminds me of Waddle, and I'm not saying he's Waddle or anything else, but his skill set, and everybody seems to have rewritten history where Waddle was some 5-star can't miss. No. He played small school football just like Lotzir Brooks did. He's extremely fast. He's shorter wide receiver, just like Brooks is. There's some similarities there. They got that escapability. They got that waggle. They can take a short pass and take it long. They got the speed to beat you deep. Just a guy that did a lot of really good things. I was hoping to see him at an All-Star game. He decided not to play on that bigger scale, but the guy's a homebody. I don't think he took any other visits. I've barely visited Tuscaloosa. He just loves football, and that's what his life's about. But yeah, he's a guy I think is going to be hard to keep off the field, whether it be special teams, reverses, getting him on there. I do think the Alabama wide receiver room will be better next year than it was this year, maybe the best you've seen in a few years. But I do think he's going to bring a skill set that they like and they're going to find use for.
All right. Before we get out of here, give me a sleeper from this class. I mean, it's tough because we know so much about this Alabama recruiting class, but who's somebody maybe the fans or the media is sleeping on that could come in and make an impact?
I really like Marshall Pritchett. I mean, he's not really a sexy recruit from the fact he's a tight end, but I mean, the thing you like about him is he's that big guy. He's very similar to Caleb Odom in a lot of ways, probably not as fast as Caleb was, who was recruited at tight end, but he's big. He's filled out really well. He catches the ball in traffic. He goes across the middle, very aggressive. I think he's looked pretty good so far in the All-Star game this week. I'm looking forward to see if he can get some touches. But the thing I like about him, he's got the size, he's got the catch radius, but he's also a willing blocker, and I think that's going to be big for Alabama and the offense they want to use. Also, we've seen Kalen DeBoer this year and in the past really use that tight end position. They also signed Caleb Edwards, so they got pretty much an inline guy and a guy that can, be that flex tight end, the best of both worlds.
All right, Alabama fans, talk to us. Who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback at Alabama next year? And also, what subliminals is Tim trying to send with that sweatshirt that he's wearing today? Let me know. Comment section below.
This is the wire, baby. Omar. Respect.